Hi, everyone, and welcome to Heal Endometriosis Naturally with Wendy K Laidlaw. Wendy has spent the last 2 years helping women with various stages of endometriosis to heal naturally after putting her condition into remission. After her own healing success from stage 4 endometriosis and adenomyosis, she's inspired to heal others, and her goal is to help some of the 175 million women know that there is another way other than painkillers, drugs, or surgery. This is the place to be for real talk with real people for real results, so you can learn how to heal your endometriosis naturally. Please note that the opinions expressed in this program may represent options, but are not a substitute for proper medical care. Before starting any new healthcare program, we recommend you consult with a health professional.
Hey, Diana.
Hi, Wendy. How are you?
I'm very well. How lovely to see you.
Yeah, it's been too long.
It has. I was just trying to figure out. It must be about 6 years. Is that right?
That's a very, very long time.
Yeah. Well, you look amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. I had a baby boy.
Congratulations. What's his name?
Stephen.
Stephen. Is that with a V or a PH?
Oh, PH, yeah.
A PH. Yeah. So how old is he now?
He is he's gonna be 2 in September. So
Oh,
just a little one.
oh, well, you must send us a photograph in so that we can admire your handsome son.
Yes, my miracle child.
I know, especially when you think of your past and your history and all that you were told. And it's just another example of, again, full credit to you for taking on board all the information and applying it to have this beautiful little miracle boy.
Yeah, I'm very thrilled. I'm very thrilled. Like after everything, like I went through with you with the courses, I still use the protocols, a lot of them. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
it's changed my life.
Oh, I'm so glad, and how wonderful. And thank you for coming on and giving us an update. Obviously, we're going to hear about you and your update, and then we'll pause this and we'll have a chat at the end. But thank you for coming on and giving us an update. And it's wonderful when women like yourself do come back and share that they're still using the principles and the protocols and they're still working for them. And then they have these miracle babies that were told they'd never have children. You know, I was told I'd never have kids, and I've got 2. You know, I feel so blessed every day, even though sometimes I want to throttle them. That you know that I'm like so lucky because the doctor said it would never happen, and I know that that was the case with you, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. They told me, what was it? Yeah, so long ago. It's like, nope, not gonna have kids. You need everything removed by the time you're 30. And I'm 30 now. So
I know. Well, I was trying to think, you were kind of in your early 20s, I think, when we first spoke. And I always remember what really attracted me to you was your energy, was your drive, your passion, your desire. You just had that fire in your belly that was like, no, I don't believe what I'm being told.
yeah, it's like, nope. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And then once I started reading your books and going through your courses, it's like, I don't know, it just hit me like, okay, you need to change, like what you eat, what you put in your hair, what you put in your body, you're exercising, the journal. That was a really big part, I believe, was the journaling in the morning that really changed me.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's so lovely to hear because I know it's something that I niggle on about, but it really does just allow you to hear those other parts of yourself, that inner guidance system, connection to your higher power, God, goddess, source, whatever you want to call it, the universe. It just allows you to connect more, I think, energetically and
Yeah.
spiritually, dare I say, to kind of, because we're such exquisitely highly sensitive women and empaths that, you know, we need to almost have that overflow to allow us to kind of, because we can absorb other people's energy and thoughts and feelings really easily, but to actually hear our own, that's where I know in my journey, and I still do that to this day. Like I did 4 A4 pages this morning and I was like scribbling
Oh,
away, and I still do it because it allows me to hear. So it's wonderful to hear that you found that supportive
Yes.
to you. And dare I say,
Very.
even empowering, because I know that, as I say, you always had this drive. And what does it feel like hearing that, like, from me now? Because I mean, I remember you like yesterday. I'll never forget you. Our first call, and you're just like, I don't believe what I'm being told. There has to be another way.
I like at certain points, I felt like I was very, like lost, very lost. And I feel like with the journaling and everything, I started to like, hello, here I am. Like, this is what's happening. And the one thing that really got me is I went to go see my doctor a couple of weeks ago, and they checked because I wanted them to check for the endometriosis, which has now been like 6 years down the road. Nothing to this day. Isn't that crazy?
Lord,
they went in, they checked. Yeah, he said there's not a trace. Not a trace. 6 years later. That's crazy. That blows me away. Birth control. I didn't take all those things that they were telling me, and I decided to go your route, and I'm still here. I still have my 2 ovaries, so I'm happy.
Oh, like, I'm so proud of you. If I could swear right now, like, oh my goodness. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm trying to think how many years down the line I am, and I have nothing, like no adenomyosis, no cysts, nothing, like no endometriosis. I still have all my uterus and my ovaries, and I have no pain, no symptoms, no medication, no surgery, nothing. And it's just amazing, isn't it? Like, just this body of ours, when you feed it right, you pay attention to it. And I love that you kind of brought up the journaling again, because there's so much pressure and noise out there online. It's like, how do you separate all of that to kind of, to kind of what is actually happening inside yourself, And I think one thing that I remember with you was you always had this amazing kind of connection to yourself, but equally yours had that beautiful sensitivity that you weren't able to kind of differentiate kind of what your instincts and your intuition was telling you from what strangers were telling you.
Yeah. And it's like, I look back at the journal and all those entries. Like, I started looking back at all those things, and it's like, I found out new things about myself. Like, I love reading. I love self-help books. I love to be out in nature. Like, it made me find myself through the whole process on top of it. So, and it's like, I feel like that's also played a part as to like how I heal too. It's like, wow, like, you find yourself through everything you put me through. And like, I feel great. Like, I'm there's no going back. There's really no, and like, I still go to the stores, and like, I have to look at the labels. Like, I have to. It's like ingrained in my head now, And I save a lot of money that way too.
Yeah, but you have to, because because I think now you have this relationship with your body that that you just can't. I'm the same. Like, as much as sometimes it's tempting and sometimes it's annoying, and you still have those parts that go, oh, I just know I respect my body too much. And I remember the pain and the misery I was in before. And I will never go back there because I have this relationship. And it sounds like you have that too, the fact you're still checking everything and you're journal. But going back to what you were saying about kind of getting to know yourself, it sounds like, you recognize that it's not just putting the endometriosis into remission, it's the journey that you're on, the self-discovery. I always remember you on the last podcast saying, people were like, Dianna, where'd you get all this energy from? And you saying, like, it was like you were like being let out of a cage that you'd been trapped in, and it was very interesting. And I think another one you said was like a cup that had been broken and you were glued back together with gold or something like that. There was all these lovely analogies that you used that were very poignant. Like, it's still stuck in my head to this day, because I related so much. So it's not just putting and keeping the endometriosis in remission. It's just continued journey, isn't it, of getting to know yourself and getting to like, love, and trust yourself, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's like so worth it, because it's like, even today, it's like, it's like if you eat that one food, it's like, you know, your body so well now. It's like, oh, wait a second, why do I feel this way? And it makes you think like, wait, I'm double thinking, why do I feel this way? What happened? Like you try to find that root cause that you taught through the course. So it's very, very, it's great. I feel good. Oh man.
Good.
And
And you know, about your relationships as well. How do you find that your relationship with yourself and with others now, how has that kind of evolved over the years? Do you find that keeping boundaries firm, how have you found that?
So, you know what? It's funny you say that, because lately, maybe like a year now, I can say no. I can actually say no. It's like, it took me a while though, but now it's like when I'm firm, and I'm like, I will speak what I think in a nice way, obviously, but it's just a really nice difference than before. Cause I remember when I first started the course, like everything was a yes, like, oh, like I don't know how to say no, like you said, but now it's like, as I learn, I can say no, and I know I'm happy with my answer.
Amazing. And what do you think, do you think, what do you think has helped with that as you've gone along? Because I recognize with a lot of us, it can still feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like there's that ingrained kind of people-pleasing parts, but at the same time, it's like a self-pleasing first, which is not selfishness, but it's self-essential for the health, isn't it? To recognize, because again, I'll speak for myself, but I know my body will respond if might even say yes to something, and then my body goes, no, we can't do that, or whatever. And now I will recognize it's okay to change my mind. So I might even say yes, or maybe, and then my body goes, no. And then it's okay for me to change my mind, to go back and say, actually, I'd love to, but I'm not able to do that, and feel the relief and the release of stress. I don't know how you feel still on your journey, and how that sits with you.
Yeah, I just feel like as I've eaten better, so yeah, there's been moments where I've slipped up a little bit, but like I get back on, and like I feel like by making those sacrifices right there, where it's like, no, if I go to like an ice cream store, no, I have to tell myself, no, can't have the ice cream. And as I say no to myself, I feel like as I'm saying no to myself, it's easier to say no to situations and to other people, because I'm confident in myself now with my body. So it's like, okay, sorry guys, it's a no from me. And like, even through my pregnancy, there was certain things where I didn't want them to do. And I told my doctor no. I was so strong, but she didn't like it. But I said no, and I stood my ground, and I am so happy I did. And I bounced back up.
Well, I hope it doesn't sound patronizing, but I am so proud of you, because I know when you're pregnant and, when you're a woman in this world, sometimes you can feel alone. And when you're saying something, and because we are so attuned to people, we know what they would like to hear and what they want from us. But to be able to know what you want for yourself and your baby and your body, like that has to count for not only the physical health, but the emotional health and the mental health and the spiritual health of us as we continue on this journey.
Yes, exactly. And I'm so proud of it. And it's like, I look back and it's like, wow, I'm back to myself. I feel good, and I can say no. I mean, I feel a lot better.
Yeah, and I'm hearing, even as you're saying that, obviously it's been a couple of years since we've spoken, but I really feel that groundedness in you. Like there's this self-like and self-care that is essential for your self-health, isn't it? Like, yes. And whilst we'll always have that part that is aware of other people and we care about others, we have to take care of ourselves first. And of course, that does mean that kind of time where we kind of go, I'd like to say yes to keep you happy, but I have to keep myself happy, because if I don't, I become ill. If I eat that food, if I have that dairy or that ice cream, my intestines are going to flame up, my skin's going to erupt, and my body's not going to like it. So I'll find an alternative thing, to suit my body. So I'm not kind of saying, not depriving parts of myself from pleasure or joy, but not feeling the pressure of before, where I would eat something or do something because I didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to upset that other person. And that's the shift that we have to make on the journey, isn't it?
Yes. And it's so important. So important. I'm very blessed and happy. It's great.
Good. I'm so happy for you. And to think that you know, you've had the all clear again 6 years later. And when did you get a chance to go back through your journals and you know, remember kind of what it was like?
Yeah, it's almost like a not trauma, but when you start reading the things from your past, it's like, wow, you look back and it's like, wow, I was not in a good state. It's
Yeah.
like a good self-reflection because you learn from it too. You look back and it's like, wow, you're learning, but then it's also good because you're learning and you can help others in those situations, or then they have similar things they're going through. You can like look back at yourself and read those notes and be like, wow, where did, you know, you're learning, and then you learn more things. And then that's the other thing I've learned is like, I love learning now. Like you know, before, you know, I would just sit and watch TV, you know, not doing much, not doing too much. But now it's like, I want to try new things. Like I'm moving to Alberta, cold turkey in a month. So
Fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah.
something new.
That's amazing, because I think as well, the more that you learn to listen, to tune in to yourself and your higher power, whatever you want to call it, through your journaling, you recognize that you know, it's nice to take counsel from other people and then come back to yourself to make decisions. Like you can trust yourself. And yes, I'm the same. I'm continually learning and growing, expanding. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And how will it be? And what will it? But I just have the faith because I'm journaling and I'm listening and I'm going for my self dates and you know, praying and you know, being out in nature so I can be connected to the core of me to go, okay, we've got this. I can hear all my different parts, but we need to keep expanding and learning and growing, because before, when we were entrenched in endometriosis, we didn't have those opportunities. We didn't have these opportunities to travel or to move or to you know, to be as active as we can now. So it's almost like making up for lost time as well, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. And it's like you said, expanding. It's like even for my dog, he had certain health issues, and I'm looking around. I started thinking, I'm like what's around, like what's in the environment, like what's going on that could cause that for him. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
compared to like even a vet saying, yeah, just take some pills for the rest of his life, you know?
Yeah.
But it's that mindset where it's like you're constantly expanding and growing for everything, even animals, where it's like, what can I help? Like how, you know, through
Yeah.
environments, everything.
No, you're spot on, because it's like that curious mindset, isn't it? It's like that spirit right from the beginning, which was, but why, but why, but why? And staying curious. And I prefer the word curious because it allows you to dig deeper and see things rather than just open, because open might mean you bring in all the rubbish as well as all the good, you know, but when you're learning to kind of, it's really finding, tuning your instinct, your gut, so that you can keep educating and informing yourself, whether it be your dog or, I know my father, of course, he's very kind of old school, so he just wants to do the main medical thing, which drives me nuts, as you can imagine. But he would just saying to me at the weekend, he was on these pills for this and on these pills for that, and these pills for this have stopped his adrenal glands working. So now he has to take pills to jumpstart his adrenal glands, so these pills had a side effect, which now he takes a pill for that side effect, and this other one has a side effect. And it's just like, these pills don't get to the root causes. And like you say, even for animals, have you still got the wee white dog? Was it?
Yeah, still got him.
Yeah, so how old is he now?
Oh, he's 14 now. He's a little old man now.
Amazing. My chocolate Labrador Ginty lasted until she was 16, and that's unheard of, or very rare for labs to be that old. So well done for, you know, again, listening to your instincts. And you're right, look at the environment. What are they eating, and how, you know, what's affecting them. But I mean, that kind of curious mindset is actually quite fun too. I think some people feel, oh, it's a lot of hard work, but actually, when your body responds, or your dog responds, or your child responds because I remember my son, he was, how old was he? Maybe about 2 years old. And he developed all this eczema all over his arms and legs. And it was so bad that he could barely walk, you know, when his legs rubbed together. He used to cry when he walked. He was in so much pain. It was so raw. And it turned out to be cow's milk. So I swapped out cow's milk because I think the doctors were like, oh, take these pills and do this and take this cream. And I was horrified at the side effects for my little boy. So I changed them to goat's milk. And it all went away, you know? So again, it's just going, there must be another way. And I really have always felt that with you, which is that, whilst it might be scary at times, stepping away from kind of the convention, but you challenging and questioning the convention to go, okay, that's great, thank you, but that doesn't work for my body, or it doesn't work for my son, or it doesn't work for my dog. You know, why is it not working? And then what are the alternatives? Because there's always an alternative. I mean, our bodies have been around for like 3 billion years, or certainly a long time, millions of years, you know, so without medicine. So what in our environment, you know, as I call the 5 Ps, the produce, products, property, people, and past, you know, what is lurking there that's causing inflammation and irritation in the body? And that's, and you do need to have a curious mindset. You have to go, I wonder, like you say, what did I just eat that my body doesn't like? Or, you know, because again, you know, you go to the supermarkets and things, and there's all these big, clever marketing, like a table of marketing people have worked really hard to convince you. I was in the shop this other day and it was saying, oh, take 15 years off your face. And I looked at the ingredients and went, no, you'll just add all this toxicity to your body. Just use shea butter or almond oil or coconut oil, and you'll take 15 years off your face, you know, because you won't be loading your body with toxins. So we have to kind of constantly navigate all these shiny new marketing kind of, you know, elements that are out there in the world trying to convince us, A, that we're not good enough as we are, and B, we need to absorb their toxic products into our sensitive bodies.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's like, even the other day, I was looking at my toothpaste, either toothpaste or deodorant, everything, the nail polish, everything. I've even been looking into like clothes. Maybe that's a little extreme, but like looking at what your clothes are made out of.
Oh yeah,
because of the chemicals.
Totally.
Oh,
we've the programs have evolved since you did it, and absolutely, there's a whole section now on toxic clothing. You know what they're sprayed with and how they, you know, it can be absorbed into the skin. Even obviously washing powder that's very perfumed and again absorbs into your skin through your clothes. And especially if you've got a very acutely sensitive body like ours. You know, you might get away with one thing, but when they all start stacking up, exactly, you want nice, fresh cotton clothes or linen clothes or even silk, you know, if you can afford it. But all these polyesters and nylons and things, they just, you know, give out all this, you know, they elude all their toxins in through the skin. The skin's like one of the biggest membranes, you know, on the body to absorb all these things. So it's fantastic, Dianna, that all these years that you've still been kind of paying attention to all that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in my mind forever.
And do you think, yeah, and do you think like with your son that, you know, you'll be kind of saying, you know, this is where I was and this is where I am? Do you think you'll be, when he's old enough, do you think you'll be sharing that with him?
Yes, I certainly will. And he'll be learning from a little boy all kinds of things, and what's good, what's not, what food to put in your body, all kinds of things, because I think it's so important. And just, yeah, I'm blown away with the whole journey. And it's like, I feel like $1 million. I actually feel an inner peace, you know?
It's amazing. Nice. I love hearing that. I love hearing that. And there is just something, another lady had said to me the other day, it's like coming home to yourself. Is that peace, coming home to yourself, like sitting in with yourself and going, you know what, I'm okay. I'm doing okay. I am okay. I'm doing okay. You know, and you know, we have to pay attention. We can't afford to sleepwalk through our lives because our bodies can't do that. We need to pay attention, but it's fun to pay attention. You know, and it's funny you saying that about your son, because my son's 22 now, and of course he was about, how old was he? 8, 9, 10 on the beginning of the journey. And he is so fascinated even now, like, because he was on the journey with me. He read my first book and then my second edition. And he was really like, wow, Mom, I had no idea. And he has his own interest and his own passion. Both my children do. And I love it because they recognize as well the different, nowadays, there's so many toxic, substances and products and foods and things. And they're really attuned to their own. So I love that they've been able to, again, take care of themselves, because I want them to be self-sufficient, independent, healthy, strong, energetic humans. And if they're able to tune in to their instincts and go, oh, I don't think that food agreed with me, or that was full of preservatives and additives, and that's made me ill, and things like that. I think my son ate a horrible packet of crisps, potato chips.
Oh no.
And he was like throwing up for like 2 days afterwards. I can't remember what they were called, but they were highly processed. He'd eaten them kind of in passing at a friend's house. And I'm like, well, clearly, if you go and look at all the ingredients, it's never seen a natural thing in its life. It's just all been made in a chemist. So I actually really like, and I've said to both my children, like, make sure that if I'm not around when you have your kids, that my grandkids and my great grandkids are educated and informed about this, not to frighten them, but to educate them and inform them that if anything's happening in their body, that they need to go searching and wear their Inspector Columbo hat or Inspector Clouseau hat, kind of with their big magnifying glass, and just check what's going on around them so they can have the ultimate health.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I'm so blessed to even have my child. So definitely having your kids informed, like, that is such a priority. And it's amazing to be able to get to that point now where it's like, you can do that.
Absolutely.
It's like, look at your children. They're going to be whizzes. They're going to be whizzes. They're probably already whizzes in a good way. So
yeah,
that's incredible.
Well, I just love that I never wanted to frighten them, but I just want them to take responsibility and recognize they have power over their own body, whatever it is. And I don't think that's shared enough. It's kind of, something's wrong with you. And of course, there's a time and a place to go and get medical support and help. And I would even say, go and speak to people, but always come back to yourself. You're responsible for your body. You do your own research. Don't give out your power to a complete stranger who doesn't know your body or live inside your body. I've heard so many horror stories, Dianna, over the years. It breaks my heart, of really trusting women who have put their bodies in the hands of butchers, basically, in their cases, and they have to live for the consequences, and they're not living, they're just barely getting by, and having to rebuild their body and their lives from scratch. So again, I'm a huge kind of supporter of people of, yeah, that's why it's great to hear that you can say no, or I'll think about it, or I'll come back to you, because sometimes you might need to seek counsel and just speak to different people to come back into your own instincts. So I'm curious, when you went back through your journal, like, how far back did you go? Can you remember what?
Yeah, I went all the way back from when I started, because I was curious. I did read every page, because it became like, now when I read it, it's like so depressing, where it's like, I've turned my mindset to, it's like, okay, I saw a sneak peek, I saw that, but I was like, nope, I am positive. I am so positive now that it's like, I can't, like, my mind has shifted, where now it's like, I'm not focusing on the negative. I haven't focused on the negative. It's just positive. Keep positive. Focus on the things you like to do. Just focus,
And have you felt like compassion for yourself then? Because sometimes obviously the journaling it's an overflow system. So sometimes, of course, it's going to be negative and complaining and whining, because it's just processing and it's dumping it out of the brain and the body onto the paper. But I know when I read back, and I know what you mean, sometimes you kind of go, oh my goodness, I was in such a bad place, and I was in such a bad way, physically, mentally. And I, even now I kind of go, oh gosh, bless me, I was just getting by. I was just getting through the hour, let alone the morning, let alone the afternoon or the day, So how did you were you able to find some compassion and kindness for you all those years ago?
Yeah. Like, when I read it, I was like, wow, like, everyone has their problems, and just looking back on it, I was like, wow, I went through that. Like, wow, I have so much. yeah, so much like you said, compassion, and just like a big heart for that girl, because it's like, wow, like you went through so much, and now it's like, wow, it's like, look at how far you've come. Like, you got to be so proud of yourself. It's
Yes.
like a different person, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's lovely. That's lovely, because I
It's
really, even
very,
you hearing even hearing those words that you're speaking, exactly. Look how far you've come, and
yeah.
be so proud of yourself, because, it's a journey, isn't it? And it's not an easy journey, but it's a journey that, you have just kept going. You've never given up. Of course, you had days that were sad days, bad days, down days, want to give up days, but you just kept going. You never gave up, and that is the measure of an EndoBoss.
Yeah, I hear you on that one.
And you know what? I don't
Yeah.
think we when you were coming through the programs, I don't think we gave out these, but I would love to send you one.
Oh,
If
oh,
you,
are those new? Oh
yeah,
my
this
gosh.
an EndoBoss medal. It's a solid brass medal, and it says, um, congratulations on being an EndoBoss, because you are an official EndoBoss, obviously.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it says around the side, it says effort, courage, discipline, respect, honor, pride, passion, and victory.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love it.
So
Oh,
normally, I mean, I know you're in Canada, but normally I ask women to fly over, meet me, and we present
oh,
you with the medal. I don't know
oh
if you're
my
planning on
gosh.
being in Scotland in the next few while.
Well, you never know. Maybe in like a year or two after we get settled in Alberta, why not? That's my whole, why not?
Why not? Well, I would love for you to fly to Edinburgh, and we can meet,
Yes.
and I could present you with your medal, because it comes in a beautiful case as well.
Oh, that's amazing.
To
Yeah.
celebrate the journey. You've been through so many battles, but you've won the war on endometriosis, and that's why you become a boss of your endometriosis, and you're an EndoBoss now. I mean, that deserves a
Well,
medal of recognition, don't you think?
yes, it does. And the one thing I took out of it, this whole program, is like, you have to take that risk. It's
Yes.
so important. You need to be a risk taker. You just need to go for it. You just go. That's just what I've learned. You just have to.
Yeah,
And look at
exactly.
me now.
Look at you now,
Yeah.
exactly. It's kind of, I heard a nice phrase the other day. It's look once, leap twice, or something like that. And I quite like that. It's like, yeah, because I think what you did and what I did, and obviously you had the framework. I didn't even have the framework then, but you took that
Yeah.
leap of faith. You trusted you'd read the book, you started to implement the stuff, and then you were like, okay, I need support in this. And you just went for it. And you really committed. I mean, I'll never forget you till the day I die. You were always so passionate and driven, and I think to be able to put that energy back into yourself was the biggest challenge on the journey, wasn't it? Because the type of woman that we are, we're really good at putting our energy out to other people and other things and other places, but the journey is like an inside job to heal. And it's not just the physical, it's the emotional as well now. And in fact, I'm running in-person retreats in Portugal. So I've got a retreat in October. So again, if you fancy coming along,
Oh,
and it's only with like 4 or 5 women, so it's really small and intimate. But again, it just allows for that feeling of connectedness and community and coming together, because it's not so easy I recognize, for the women that are so good at helping others to help themselves.
yeah.
That is the biggest challenge, So I always remember you being very, very committed, very, very, what does that feel like, hearing that being relayed back to you?
Feels good. Like, I feel good knowing, it's like, I think of it, it's like, yeah, I look back, it's like, yeah, I was, and it's like, I still am to this day. I have to be like, I just, like you said, you got to leap forward. You got to just go. You got to stay committed. You're either you're in or you're out. Like, you got to be fully in. And
Yeah.
like, the rewards are wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's like, just looking at you, right? Like you said, you didn't even have a framework. So it's like, when I looked up to you, it's like, wow, like, oh my gosh, like, I have to get on board,
Yeah.
and it's like, you look fantastic. like, and you have nothing, like no medical braille, nothing. Like, that's crazy. That's amazing.
Well, this is why I do what I do,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I have to tell. I always remember going, oh my goodness, I have to tell everyone about this. Like, there was nothing on those days online that covered everything. You know, there's people talk about nutrition, they talk about diet, which is fine. And then there was, contradictory stuff on that. And then some people talked on products, but people didn't talk really about property, and they didn't talk about people, and they didn't talk about past, and they didn't talk about the emotional side of things, And I remember being even scared to talk about the emotional side of things, because I didn't want women thinking that I was saying to them it was in their head, because it's not in their head. We are such empaths, such highly sensitive women, but it doesn't mean that we're weak either. It's just our strength is misdirected out and not in, and it's challenging coming in on that, So, but yeah, I remember thinking I have to share this. I would like chop off my right arm to have had this information. I lost decades of my life, So it was so important. And then, of course, just to see how women respond when they get the right information, education, inspiration, love, and support. It's beautiful. It's like a plant or a flower. It grows and it heals. It's just what nature does, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It's incredible. So,
I mean, I'm thinking back to kind of at the very beginning, and I remember our very first phone call. And we're talking about, you taking that commitment. But what do you think was driving you? Because, not everybody has it. And nowadays, women have to apply to work with my team and stuff, because we know the women that are like, I'm all in. Like, I'm going to take that leap of faith. Like, oh my God, it's scary and it's a big financial commitment, but like, I'm doing. So what do you think was that driving factor for you?
It's like, I think it was like a mix. I think the big factor is when I met you, it's like, if she did it, she went through all that, I can do it. I just looked at you and I was like, no, I trust her. Like, I can do this, and it's also when you have doctors, saying like, you'll never have kids, you'll never do this, you need things removed, you need, all these negative things, it like pushes you away. And it's like some women, like I was scared at one point. It's like, okay, this is scary. Like, I need to find an alternative, because I don't know where to look. And then when I met you, it's like, okay, like, this is different. Like you said, it's different. Like, there's so many diets out there, all these different naturopaths. Everyone's got different opinions, but you actually went through it. You went through it. So I was like, okay, like, I can trust her. Like, she went through this.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Oh, but that's good to hear, because I think that's it. I know when I spoke to various people on my journey, I had chronic fatigue syndrome at one point, and I remember speaking to this place, and they put me in touch with a coach, but she'd never had chronic fatigue. So I'm like, well, how can you possibly understand what I'd been through? And then I spoke to a naturopath or a nutritionalist, and they'd never had endometriosis. I'm like, how could you possibly understand? So I needed to key in to someone who had, well, there was nobody really, I sort of pitch patched the whole thing together. And that's why it's great that inspired you, because I was thinking there was nobody then at that point who was this almost near total organ failure and on their way out as I was. And that's why I'm like, there's just no way I can't share this, because it's about giving you hope and a pathway to healing, So it's wonderful. And I think that's it. I think when you recognize, because you get told so many different things by the professionals, and our conditioning, the way that we've grown up, is we're told to kind of be good girls, do as we're told, don't question. But something's screaming inside going, no, I don't think you're supposed to remove everything, like that's not going to address the root causes. And surely we need these parts. They're not just disposable parts, that they can be thrown away. I used to use the analogy like an empty crisp packet. It's like,
yes,
I remember saying to some of the male doctors, shall we just chop off your parts too? Or if they're that indispensable. And, their response obviously was one of horror. But I'm like, well, that's what you're talking about with us, with us women, is to remove everything. It's like, it's horrifying. So, Yeah, no, it's great that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. Is that your wee boy?
Oh, the telephone. I'm at my parents', so everything, the little adjusting, learning and adjusting.
Well, I'd love
But
to meet him. I don't know if is he around to say hello?
oh, he's sleeping right now.
Okay. So
I'm
let him
sure
sleep. Yeah, let him sleep. No, it's exactly. It's and you know, when you look back, I mean, for those listeners, I think we're at over 120,000 downloads now on our podcast. So there will be listeners who maybe have, hopefully everyone's gone back and binge listened to your two previous podcasts. But for those who haven't heard, can you remember what was happening for you physically when you first joined the program?
like when I first joined the program, I felt okay. At first, I felt lost. I felt lost because, like that feeling of driving me to you. I was like, okay, I feel trust. But when I started the program, I was like, I don't know where to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. But then I have to say, after the fact of everything, the course, when you start it, it's crafted in such a way where you learn what you need to learn at the right times.
Yeah.
So it started to build my confidence, and having the groups on Facebook that we were part of, that was very important. I thought that was really important, like you said, with the connecting, because it really, I made some friends off that, and you could stay connected. I think that was very important for that as well.
And what can you remember? You obviously had I think you had cysts, didn't you? And endometriosis, obviously. And I do remember your doctor was obviously saying to have a hysterectomy and that you never have children. And it's like, wow, and you think, there you have a little boy and you've actually had your insides checked. There's nothing, there's no sign. It's just amazing.
Yes, it's amazing. It's the complete opposite of what they said. So
fantastic.
Very different.
And what about your parents? I mean, do they still were they aware of your journey at all?
Yeah, so they're very shocked too. Even like I said, they're still learning with the foods and everything, but they're still okay, if you need any help, if you want to help Wendy, if you want to do anything, go see her, because they don't even know you and they trust you because of all the help that you gave me. So that's incredible. It's a very big journey. It's even like I said, when I had my surgery after endometriosis, after we did our program, he gave me a picture and said, I don't know what happened. You don't have anything. I don't know. That's what he said. I don't know what happened.
But don't you think that's astonishing that someone in that really influential place, doesn't understand the body's natural healing process? I mean, this isn't anything, this is not a snake oil or anything weird, wacky or woo-woo here. This is you cut your finger and it heals by itself. You unless you keep cutting it, it's going to heal. Don't you think that's really weird?
It's an eye-opener. And then you start questioning everything when you're hearing stuff like that coming from a specialist. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, I think again, they're just a byproduct of their training, and their training is obviously tends to be pharmaceuticals and surgical procedures rather than actually.
Yes.
So I really appreciate you coming on and giving us an update and sharing where you're at. It's very inspiring, and I'm super proud of you on so many fronts. And please do send us a photo of your little boy if you're comfortable. We don't have to share it if you don't want to, but we certainly for the team, we would love to coo and go and there's a few ladies. I think we've got 37 EndoBoss babies now that
what?
Yeah. Is that we've actually got a spreadsheet of all so it's just lovely when we see wee photos of them, of these beautiful little beings that have come into the world, and as we call them, EndoBoss babies. So what would be your parting words to anyone who's listening, who's perhaps at the beginning of their journey, or maybe read the book and and kind of feeling a bit lost and alone? What would be your parting words of inspiration?
I would have to say, just leap forward, go for it. If you're having a bad day, keep going. Like you said, everybody has their bad days, but like you have to look forward for the rewards, and that reward is so worth it. Like it's so worth it. Like you just got to get up the next day and be like, nope, this is happening. This is happening, and you can do it. Because I did it.
And you're worth it, and you're worth it.
Yes.
Like never give up, you know, and of course to reach out for help and support of people who know you, who get you. And if you're not getting what you need, then look elsewhere. So, well, look, thank you so much. We're going to chat in a second, but Dianna, thank you so much for coming on. It's just been an absolute joy to catch up with you again, and keep up the brilliant work. Keep awake and aware and, you know, curious of what's happening in, on, and around you. But and hopefully maybe catch up again in another couple of years.
Oh, yes, we sure will.
Thanks for listening to Heal Endometriosis Naturally with Wendy K Laidlaw. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and rate us. If you're interested in learning more, you can download your top 5 jumpstart tips at healendometriosisnaturally.com and jump on the VIP email list. Remember to keep you number one. The world needs a healthy you.